We are extremely elated to have with us the chief guest of the day, Mr. Kamal Bali, President and Managing Director, Volvo Group India. Mr. Bali has been spearheading reputed Indian as well as multinational organizations as President and CEO for over 2 decades. In a career spanning over 4 decades, since 2014, he is the MD and President of Volvo Group India. An alumnus of IIT Roorkee, Mr. Bali has had an illustrious career largely in automotive and engineering industry, including the Escher Group, Escorts, SDF, Singapore Technologies. In 2019, Mr. Bali was knighted and awarded one of the Sweden's highest honor in the Royal Order of the Polar Star Commander by Their Majesties, the King and Queen of Sweden. He was felicitated with Bharat Ratna Sir M. Visvesvarya Memorial Award in 2023 by the Governor of Karnataka. Respected for his values-based leadership and strong ethos, Mr. Bali is recipient of the prestigious 2019 Machinist Lifetime Achievement Award by Times of India Group for his outstanding contribution in the field of manufacturing. Mr. Bali is also a recipient of Economic Times Inspiring CEO 2021 and Impactful CEO 2024. Mr. Bali also wears governing council hats with distinguished institutions from industry, academia, and public sector. Sir, we are grateful to have you. Over to you with a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Sanandi, for that very generous introduction. Ladies and gentlemen on the dais, the future leaders of India in front of me. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning. And I'm so grateful that the speakers before me have made my job this day count. So please make this day count. What is the date today? 23rd August 2025 should be etched in because you're also very privileged and lucky to be here sitting in such a premium institution. Not many boys and girls in India get this opportunity to be able to study here. So you are all very privileged. You should thank your parents. You should thank your stars. You should thank God to bring you to this lovely institution from where you can start a wonderful journey. So I think that's the beginning of, I would say, what I wanted to say. But when I passed out into a very passive world, very easy world. I won't say easy, it was a very boring world. I had 2 jobs. As I graduated, I got Eicher and Tata Motors. People told me, my father had some friends, which company to join, which is better. He says, please ask your son, what does he want to do? He wants to be in R&D, manufacturing, sales or marketing. I said, I want to be in sales and marketing. Then they said, okay. Then let him join Eicher, because in Tata he will not learn any sales and marketing, because during my time, a Tata truck would take 7 years for delivery. So there was no sales and marketing. A Bajaj scooter took 5 years. I mean, I think Dr. Shishir, you would remember, 1981. So he said, you will not learn anything. So if you really want to be in sales and marketing, get into a company which is new, which is struggling, which wants to do. That's how I joined Eicher. So that's how our destinies, our decision-making process used to be. But you are living in a very, very different world. Let me warn you. Let me also excite you that you are living in a very, very different world, because you're entering a world where I think the world of business and commerce is going through once-in-a-lifetime transformation. It's a once-in-a-100-year sort of a transformation where technology is calling the shots, where geopolitics is playing phenomenal role in what you will do, where so many issues of sustainability like climate action, congested cities, all of it is making a huge impact on what you will do, what you will end up doing. So if I were to really put the whole perspective into the kind of what is happening in the world, because a lot of people have spoken a lot of things. Let me try to put it into perspective and summarize it for a moment. I think four major shifts in the world are happening, four major trends. I think the first trend is return of big power conflicts. After the World War II, almost 75, 80 years ago, is the first time that you are seeing return of, I'm not saying it's World War III, but something akin to that in a different way. You see Ukraine, Russia in Europe, you see in Middle East, Israel, Iran, Hamas, you see stress in Asia, you see between Taiwan and China, you see, I mean, any part of the world you pick up, there is a challenge, there is a issue. So I think, and this is, why I'm telling you all of this is because all of these things have impact on what will happen to your futures, what kind of leadership, navigation role you will have to take, what all you will have to do for yourself and for the country. So I think that's the first one you have to keep in mind. I'll be very quick. The second one is, we can go into a lot of details and to understand the impact, but I'll just leave it very short. The second is crisis in economic globalization. There's a huge, we talked about a global village. The world, and actually China really enjoyed that from 1990 to 2015. There was a huge globalization. Americas, Europe's wanted. China became the factory of the world. 30% of global manufacturing took place in China. By the year 2020, it went to that level that 30% of the global manufacturing took place in China. And China really enjoyed that global economic globalization in a big way. And India today is about 3 to 4% of global manufacturing. So I think because we were shut, we were very socialist, sort of a protected economy, everything was nationalized until 91 when we woke up only partially and did some reforms, but I think we lagged behind. So we missed that bus, but that's okay. I mean, we missed that bus, there's always our time. So I think, so that is something which you have to understand, why this crisis in global economic globalization is troubling, because you will now have to deal. Earlier, there was a WTO, there were rules of the game. You can have just one rule or probably few rules and play the game very, very simply. Now you have to, thanks to Mr. Trump, you will now have to go to each country and you have to sign a bilateral trade agreement. Which country you will work with, which country you shall not work with. So it's a huge, huge shift which is going to happen in your posturing. And the third shift which we are seeing is emergence of AI and other new technologies. And it is happening to the extent that very soon different industry sectors, like today we have engineering, pharma, medical, automotive, semiconductors. We have many different industry sectors. I think going forward, maybe 10, 20 years down the line, there'll be only one industry, which is technology. Every company will be a technology company. Okay, it doesn't make a difference what you finally build, but you will, at the core, be a technology company. Very, very major shift. It has potential to really transform life, disrupt sectors, disrupt economy. So very, very critical to understand these nuances, and I think India can really work to take the second mover advantage. Of course, we will not be first in AI, but we can be a second mover advantage, and many times the second mover has more advantage than the first mover. And you all sitting in this room can play a huge role, and I think I will come to that in a moment, and that's the big India advantage which I'm going to talk about. And finally, the fourth shift which is happening is really the new lens of sustainability. The lens of sustainability and energy transition. This is a very big one. What is really sustainability? The sustainability lens is simple, that if you want to play in the global play field, you will have to do four things. Number one, holistic sustainability, you will have to do four things. Number one, whatever you do has to be economically viable, which means more bang for the buck. Less input, greater output, economic efficiency. Nothing new we have been doing for years, but it has to be. But that's not enough. The second thing, whatever you do has to be socially inclusive, which means you have to take everybody together. I'm so happy to see 50% girls and 50% boys in this room. Very balanced. And that's really the way we want to move. You can't run with one leg tied down. You can't. So I think it's very, very important. And you need the entire ecosystem, not only on gender. You want people from different ethnicities, people from diverse backgrounds. So happy to see that people from so many states, which Mr. Shishir talked about, are here in this room. I'm so, so grateful and happy that this is happening here. So it's very, very, because diversity also leads to a lot of innovation and lots of other good things. So I think the second part is whatever you do has to be socially inclusive. The third part in this is that whatever you do has to be environmentally friendly. Very, very important. So therefore, all your circularities, all your clean fuels, emissions, companies like automotive companies who are the biggest polluters, we need to really think our game and see how do we really bring innovation to the fore and get zero emissions vehicles. Companies like us, we have committed by 2040 we will be a net zero company. So I think that's something which is important. Yeah. And finally, the fourth part in holistic sustainability is being morally ethical. Very important. So what is it? Economically efficient, environmentally friendly, socially inclusive, and morally ethical. If you do not tick these four boxes, you are not in the game. You may have the best product, the best idea. If these four boxes are not ticked, you're gone. I mean, recently, if you see, boys and girls have started to look at companies with values, companies who really tick some very important boxes. And this was not there during our time. Our time, who paid the best salary and which had a little bit of a brand name, two things, and then we were up and running. But today it's very different. So I think that's something very critical. So that the world is in a huge, complex, I'm sorry, I made it my talk little serious, but I wanted to make you serious. Because I want you to really think about it, because all the stuff which has been talked about is very important as to what you need to do, but I also want you to think. I want you to think how to make our country great again. We are a civilization, we are not a country. We've taken a back seat over the last many hundred years, but we now want to be back with a bang. And therefore, you guys sitting in this room have that opportunity, because the starting line has become same for everyone. If I was 100 years behind USA, it is no more so. I'm maybe probably 10 years behind only now. Thanks to AI, thanks to technology, thanks to digital world, the starting lines have been redrawn. So we have that huge advantage. And that advantage is you all, because we are a young India. I will tell you what are our advantages. 7 Ds which define India. Number one, our demography. Average age is 29. Average age of Japan is 50. China is 40. All countries are aging. So we are the youngest country, large country. Number two, what is the second D? Our diversity. Look at the number of languages, ethnicities we have in the country. That helps us to innovate big time. What is the third D? Our determination. Determination as a nation. Determined leadership today. I think that's something very, very good which we can speak about. Democracy. We are a true democracy. I mean, I think we are a better democracy than United States of America. There's only one person takes decision there right now. But I think so we can be very proud that we are a great democracy. We are moving very fast on decarbonization. So the next D is decarbonization. We have decided to become net zero by 2070 as a country. So we have a lot of focus on hydrogen, a lot of focus on liquid ammonia and hydrogen, which will lead to our less dependence on other parts of energy. And finally, the young India, which is digitally savvy. All of you are digitally savvy, young India, which is giving us the big advantage. So therefore, huge advantage we have, And India is taking and we are in spotlight, not because that we are the fastest growing economy. We are growing at the fastest rate in the world. We are a $4 trillion economy. We should be by about, about 20 years time, by the time India turns 100, as Mr. Shishir talked about, Viksit Bharat, we should be more than a $20 trillion economy with per capita going 5 or 6 times of current levels. So I think we can be pretty proud about what's likely to happen. But these are some of the things which are happening and making India. But now, while this is there, we have number of challenges. What are the challenges? Very, very quickly, if I were to, really want to make you serious again for next 2-3 minutes. We have to create 10 million jobs per year. That's the level of youngsters who are joining. We were talking of Gen Alpha and others. The Gen Alpha, the rate at which it's coming is 10 million boys and girls want new jobs, 1 crore jobs per year. For next 10 years, we have to create those kind of jobs. Jobs or self-employed or whatever. I think that's one. We have to manage urban congestion. Our cities are bursting on the seams. Needs of mobility are growing, and therefore we have to work a lot on infrastructure. We have to deal with urban-rural divide. What's happened in India is that we have run from agriculture to services. We missed the middle step of manufacturing, the story which I was telling you, which is really, really troubling us today. And we need to get a focus back on manufacturing. Because I'm not against services. I'm not against what all my friends here do, New Gen and all. But I think it's because one job in manufacturing creates 2.5 jobs in services. So it's very, very important that we do that. There is cyber security challenges. There is crude oil dependence. We are today India has got that high tariff because of a thing on crude oil, at least purportedly as crude oil, but there are other reasons. And we have MSMEs who are dying to learn and go up we need to support MSMEs in manufacturing. So those are some of the challenges. So I think if those are the challenges and the opportunities are immense, this is the world order happening. I feel that you are sitting on a great story. You only have to, in addition to whatever has been said, I think you have to burn the midnight oil. For the next 10, 15 years, India and Indians will have to really work really, really hard and smart to really take leadership in some of these areas which I talked about, when it is AI, technology, take leadership so that we become indispensable. For simple math, if I look at the fertility and birth rate today, 1 out of 5 people working in the world in another 20 years has to be an Indian. Okay, 1 out of 10. Okay, sorry, 1 out of 5, 20% will be an Indian. Okay, so we will call the shots. Okay, yeah, so I think that's something very important. So if all of this is there, and you're going to be the future leaders, what is leadership all about? Leadership, I will quickly tell you that it is not simply the old definition of leaders are supposed to motivate, they are supposed to charge you, they are supposed to do good things, they are supposed to inspire you. All of that is all good, but I think leaderships are leaders. Leadership is about people who can transform you into a different orbit. And I think that is what is leadership. And leadership is not a guy with a nice card at the designation or guy sitting in the corner room. Each one in the organization is a leader. Leaders are those who create more leaders, more people who can lead instead of who create followers. Leaders are not the ones who create followers. They are bad leaders. Leaders are the ones who create more leaders. So remember that. Creating more followers is not leadership. Creating more leaders is leadership, And that's something which, because you empower them, you empower them to become. So what we need to do, I think a lot of things have been talked. Some of them, maybe I'm going to talk from I have made my own recipe through my 40 years of experience, but very, very quickly, just to say, if you want to start on this, leadership is about what? Let me talk about, number one, shared purpose and ambition. We have talked and we have said, align our purpose and our passion. So I think be very clear, what are you good at, what excites you, and does it touch on the overall purpose of the organization or what you want to do. If that alignment happens, it's great. So shared purpose and ambition, I call it SPA. You will not forget. SPA. You all know SPA? SPA. Shared purpose and ambition. Second, leadership is about leaders. What do? They spread hope, they spread optimism, and they spread positivity. I call it HOP. HOP. Hope, optimism, positivity. You don't want drooping shoulder leaders with drooping shoulders and always breaking bad news to you. Nobody wants to follow a loser, right? At least you have to be very, very clear on that. Number 3, leaders have to walk their talk. So they have to be credible and authentic. I call it CAA. Credible and authentic. Whatever they say, they must actually implement in their walk and talk. Whatever they walk and talk, they must actually do that. Number 4, which is my favorite and most important, and I think somewhere I read in this institute also, is I call it TTC. Transparency, trust, collaboration. If this is the most important, youngsters, please remember this. TTC, please don't forget in your life. Be transparent. Why? Because because the future world requires collaboration. Okay? So if you're transparent, people will start trusting you. Okay? People will start trusting you if you're transparent. And when you're transparent, people will start collaborating with you. When people start collaborating with you, then they will form partnerships with you. And the future leadership is all partnership. We say new leadership is partnership is the new leadership. And because the kind of problem statement which are there, no single entity can solve that, howsoever big. So you will need partnerships in a big way. So that's one thing. So TTC, transparency, trust, collaboration. And then next one is RED, which is rigor, ethics, and discipline. Very simple. Rigor, ethics, and discipline. There is no free lunch, whether AI or no AI, whether chat GPT. Again, even if it is chat GPT, human beings will not get eliminated at all, because chat GTP, 10% of that will be all humbug, will be rubbish, which chat GPT will throw. You will have, some human being will have to check that 10% humbug or rubbish in that chat GPT, so outcomes. So you will have to be, without human beings, it will not work. So rigor, ethics, and discipline will be very, very important. The next one is I call care and mutual respect. Very important. Care for each other. Great leaders are ones who care, who care for each other, who have mutual respect for colleagues, and especially younger ones. And finally, self-awareness and empathy. I think that's very, very important. I mean, before you react to a person, please understand, please see what that person probably may have gone through before you see their behavior or reaction. So clearly the premium going forward, boys and girls, is going to be on aspects such as mindset, which is your attitude, on your character, very, very important. Link it with sustainability, very important. Values, purpose, and impact. And I think I have seen your institute values, and I was very impressed when I was reading students first, integrity, transparency, collaboration, respect, innovation, DEI. First time I'm reading something which is completely connecting with resonating with what I have been saying. Lifelong learning, very, very important. Remain like kids. Even at the age of 50, 60, remain like curious kids. Ask questions. Please don't stop. If you don't understand, ask the purpose. So sustainability, social responsibility, lifelong learning, and I think mission to be an integrated, socially responsible, and value-based management institutes that promotes continuous learning and societal contribution. Fantastic. I think a lovely statement, Dr. Mr. Shishir. I really, and I think we must take it to our heart. And this is very, very important. It's an easy day, but also a serious day, because this is the day which will be etched in the history for you, and you will recall, just like I am recalling the most my joining day and not my convocation day. My joining day was more important than the convocation. Convocation is a consequence of what I have done. This is the day which has brought you here. This is the day, your privileged day, where you have landed up here. Balances all will happen if you do the right things. So boys and girls, I think you are in a great place. You are in great hands. You have some excellent faculty. I had a chance of meeting them this morning. Be open, be honest to yourself. And I think, end of the day, the biggest objective is to serve India as a country. And that's going to be your hallmark. Thank you.